All right, we are going to go over the results of your hearing exam. So I'm going to show you the graph as we go along, and I'll explain it as we go down. But yeah, this is the results of your hearing exam that we did, where you listened for the tones that I gave you, and you pressed the button each time you heard a tone, even if and especially when it got softer. We'll start off with the red circles and the red connecting line right there. So all the red is a representation of your right ear. The red circles tell me when you heard the sound the softest, the quietest. And then also we've got your blue X's. Your blue X's and tell me where your left ear heard the quietest and softest sound. And then we've also got that red connecting line, the blue connecting line. And if you look at that red and blue connecting line, this tells us that your hearing in your right and left ear are very similar to one another. In that you are hearing, you're able to hear certain amount of sounds the same, but also you're kind of missing a few important sounds the same in both ears. We'll talk more on that later. But if we look up at the 20 level mark right over here and follow that across our graph, right there, what can I see? 20 level mark right there. If your red circles and your blue X's fell at or above that 20 level mark, that's my gauge to let me know that you are within normal limits. And what that means when you're within normal limits is that you can practically hear all sounds, most importantly speech sounds, like letter sounds in the alphabet. And you are able to hear those with deeper sound. You are able to hear those at a point, but your slope goes in a downward direction, which tells me that you are missing a few of those important sounds / speech letter sounds, which isn't a bad thing at all, but it does explain why sometimes in conversation you might be missing a few words, or it also validates the reason as to why it's a bit harder for you to hear or understand conversations when there's an additional background noise in the area. And so for that reason, I would recommend hearing aids just to make sure that we can restore your hearing. We can have all those speech sounds that you're missing kind of level up with your top area right here, and maybe even closer to the normal hearing limits area, just so that we're not missing any sounds, not missing any speech, and we can keep communication going. And for that, we have a couple options for hearing aids, and I'll show you this right over here, and I'll explain it also as we go. Some options we have for you. There's this one right here. This is a receiver in the ear canal, and what that is what's this called? Well, we got the receiver in the ear canal, and we've got the behind the ear option. They're very similar in that the hearing aid sits on top, behind the top of your ear. There is a tube that travels down to your ear, and then you've got your earpieces inside. The behind the ear one is slightly bigger in size than the receiver in the ear, but this I think is more powerful in terms of being able to capture a lot more sounds, especially the ones that you are having trouble hearing. For you, I would recommend the behind the ear one. Just because also it gives that extra security at the very top to really make sure that it isn't going anywhere. And I know that one of your concerns was also the dexterity and arthritis of your hands, and so I find that this will be a lot easier to manage. what's this called? So this is also a good start for a first hearing aid, since this will be your first hearing aid if you continue to go forth. But apart from the physical properties of it, it being secure enough, well, will make the fit will be secure enough so that it won't move anywhere, and it'll really help. You'll be able to handle it well with your hands. What's this called? The sound properties of it. This one, I think, will really capture all the sounds that are less heard. It'll really capture all the sounds that are less heard that were after, so that all sounds and all speech to you is crystal clear. If you choose to go forth, I really think that you would enjoy these hearing aids, but some quick things to note with hearing aids. When you first get them, there is a quick adjustment period. Apart from noticing a difference in your hearing, it might not be better right away. You might not think that it's better right away, but if you stick with it a little bit, you will find that it is better. You'll be able to perceive everything at like a normal level. You won't have trouble hearing or trying to put extra effort into hearing. But you will be hyper aware of it for a little while, especially physically. You'll kind of notice that, you'll feel it more. And that usually happens just because it's brand new. But for the most part, these hearing aids are meant to help, and I really think that you'll enjoy them when you try them out.